Welcome back to another episode of Transitions from War. I'm your host, Mike Ergo, a Marine Corps veteran. I've returned from Iraq and faced the challenges of PTSD, addiction, and grief to create a new life that is balanced and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. I'm joined by fellow Marine Rich Strayling, and together we talk about our journey to mental and physical health through endurance sports. Each episode will share some of our journey or interview inspired veterans and subject matter experts to help us find that purpose and connection we all crave. You can follow the show on Instagram at Transitions from War. Join our TFW page on Facebook, Twitter, and transitionsformore.com. If you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email me at mike@transitionsformore.com. And if you enjoy the show, consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you get your audio. As always, thanks for listening, everyone, and let's get to the show. You just gotta say awesome. Magic words. And we're back. Nailed it. Fucking nailed that one. Stuck the landing. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Gold medal Olympics.
Dude, so how are things going? What are you up to?
Oh, man, it has been a week. I had to put down my cat yesterday that it is a cat I got right after I got out of the Marine Corps. Little dude named Rascal. And he was, well, like anything you need to, when you transition out, just a little, like really important person in my life, but had to put him down. He was suffering. So it was a sad day, but, and kind of like the end of an era, really. You know, like my last little vestiges of like me just getting out that time where it was really transitioning out and into the civilian world. So,
sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah,
it's always tough to put down a pet.
Yeah, it was tough, but I mean, it happened in the best way possible. Actually, you know, now with COVID, you can't even go in to the vet, but the vet came out to our car and gave him the sedative, and we got to pet him for a little while, and then administered the euthanasia. And yeah, I was there with my wife, my daughter. My son was playing t-ball, but we were there, got to be with him as far as final breaths, and you know, it was a sad day, but also a lot of cool things going on. I totally designed. I had forgotten I had this tandem kayak because it's been in like the garage and attic for like ever at my mother-in-law's house. Mm-hmm. But I totally redesigned it to be a fishing kayak. So I'm taking it out today and going to go out and get some fish and some crabs out in Bodega Bay where I live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that like a heavy refurb? What's that process like to make a kayak, a fishing kayak?
Well, it involved me drilling some holes using a Dremel and inserting rod holders that will hold the fishing rods so you can paddle, not have to hold all the things at the same time, and then putting in a couple things that will anchor in a crab trap to the kayak so it doesn't flip out of the boat. And then just putting all my fishing stuff in there and lashing it down with like leashes or things that make it float and putting things in compartments. So yeah, getting a life vest, and then getting all my tools set up there with like dummy cording them, you know, like we used to do with NVGs and such. So awesome. I don't drop them in the water like a turd when I'm hauling in a fish.
That's cool, man. Is it just you going out?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you taking all the kids?
No. Yeah, not in the ocean. They're a little too small for that. And plus it's still pretty cold. I think I saw temperatures as 48 the last time. But that's a little, I jumped in the water last week and was in there for a little while. So I don't know if it was quite 48 because that would have been fucking freezing. It felt like it was more in like the mid 50s, which still is cold, but yeah, no, I've been getting into fishing and catching crab. Yeah. Not like I'm going to die instantly.
Right. Yeah.
Just I'm going to die in a little while.
Yeah. I'm guessing you didn't have your wetsuit on.
No, man. I just went straight up and well, I had a swimsuit this time, bro. So I had to get a new phone because I was crabbing with the boys. We have this thing. It's a fishing pole, and you attach a crab snare to it. So imagine this little like tiny cage that holds like bait. You know, we put squid in
Mm-hmm.
there, and on the outside are these little like you know nylon like plastic loops. And what happens is you cast it out there, let it sit on the bottom. The stink goes out. The crabs come up, and sit on top of that thing, and when you reel it in, those loops tighten around their legs, and so you can haul in a crab. So I had had so many fishing
Oh,
trips with my boy, my 4 year old, where we leave and he'd say, "Oh, Dad, we never get any fish." I'm like, "Oh, this is a fucking dad failure right here. This cannot go on." So I'm hauling in this crab, and I was like, "Yes, we're finally gonna catch something together." And I'm hauling it in, and it drops off the snare like maybe like 10 feet from the shore, and I see this thing kind of like floating to the bottom, like getting away. I was like, "Oh fuck no!" So I ran and jumped and dived in, and like got the crab as he was trying to like skitter away. And I still had my phone and my like wallet in my pants, so like,
oh shit.
yeah, that was a thing. Totally worth it
What kind
though.
of phone?
iPhone 10.
10?
Yeah,
Wait, aren't those waterproof?
they are, but they're not salt waterproof. Salt will fuck your shit up, dude.
Oh,
I
that's
learned
a
that.
really big caveat. I
A
never knew that shit.
really big caveat. So yeah,
Yeah, huge caveat.
yeah. So it
Don't
worked for
swim
a little bit, and
triathlon
then it
with your
just like,
phone on you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it worked for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
and like it just kind of shut down and never came back to life. But it's totally worth it for me because I was due for a new phone, um, and to haul in something with my son, worth it for me. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
cool day.
absolutely.
So I've been taking him fishing. My daughter comes too sometimes, but getting really into that as my second thing I do outside of triathlon.
Now, is that kind of response to just COVID, like to being all locked up and shit?
Yeah, it's a response to that, and it's just something I've enjoyed, really enjoyed off and on for a while. And now that I live so close to the ocean, it's just way more doable. And I was just like starting to realize how doable it is.
That makes sense. It's like, I don't know, man. This last couple of weeks have just been killing me. Like, did I tell you I had to go on COVID lockdown?
No, that sounds fun.
Like more than normal? Yeah. Like I got an email from a lawyer. It was like a few weeks ago. And it was like, we're letting you know that you've been exposed because like you were called, stated as being in the office with somebody who had caught COVID. So you have to
Mm,
like stay for 10 days inside. And I was like losing my freaking mind, dude.
yeah, I bet.
And, but here's the funny part about it. I did not catch it. Right.
Nice.
It was fine. And the girl who had been in my office,
Yeah.
um, I was only in there for like a half an hour with her. Like I stopped in because we're like shooting some videos for some course for Ukraine,
Mm-hmm.
for like e-governance in Ukraine. And so I like stopped into the office to say hi and then went and shot the video, came back, stuck around for a few minutes and left. So I didn't catch anything. She recovered just fine. And then like we were going to, because we still kind of try to do some social things, which I know we shouldn't, but we do. And one of our friends had, I think it was that Saturday, there was going to be like a housewarming party. They bought
Yeah.
an apartment, or I guess when you buy it out here, they call it buying an apartment. In the States, I guess we call it buying a condo. So she bought a
Okay.
condo, and we were all going to go hang out and see everybody. But because I got told that I couldn't go, I was like, hey, sorry, can't go. And so we stayed here in the apartment. Well, then we found out like the next Wednesday or something, everybody who went to that party caught COVID, like
Oh shit.
every single person. And I was just like, holy shit, dodge that bullet, you
Dodge
know?
that one. No shit.
But yeah, but like, I don't know, man. It's probably a function of being in these like small Soviet apartments. I do not like I've been working from home for like the last couple months. Everything is locked down here since I don't know, like a month and a half ago, and
Yeah.
so it's just kind of like I don't know. I'm just find myself going insane. I feel better today because I wrote, and yesterday I meditated before I wrote. So working on that next book, but it's like I don't know, man. I take the kid for really long walks when I go with him
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard when shit locks down like that. It's been going on for over a year now. And I remember like just looking, trying to invent things to do. I was like, I'm gonna find new ways to make jello, or like just different random things. I was making simple syrups that people could add to either drinks or like sparkling water at first. I was like so big into making these like honey based simple syrups.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
it was fun. I loved it. That was really pandemic. That was like around the time of like Tiger King. Um,
Yeah, when everyone watched that.
yeah, when everyone
That
watched it and we
shit.
were still calling it coronavirus and not COVID.
Yeah. Oh God. And I can't believe. I mean, it's been a damn year. That shit's insane. It's insane that we've
Yeah,
been locked down for this long, and it's insane that. And this, I guess, is political. We probably shouldn't get into that end, but like, I think it's nuts that there's over like 560,000 Americans dead, and some people still don't fucking believe in it.
it is a bit odd. Yeah. Um, it is odd. And, I guess it just goes to show that um, the mind is very meldable. You
Yeah,
can, is that a word? Meldable? Moldable? Who knows?
moldable, meltable, yeah, malleable. You know,
Malleable.
it kind of
Thank you.
goes
That's what I was
back
looking
to
for.
that. It goes
That's
back to
that's the
that
word that was
cult
escaping
comment.
my brain housing group.
It's all right. It's like 4 in the afternoon here, so I've had plenty of coffee today.
Oh, nice.
You're like just been waking up. So,
Catching up. Where's my coffee? There's floating into view now.
oh,
There.
shark's mug, nice.
Yeah.
My mug's in the other room. I just had some green tea, but one of my friends for my birthday this year, because Elena was pregnant at that time, so my friend bought a mug where the handle is like a hammer, and it
Yeah.
says like "Thanks, Dad, you were always handy." He was like, "It's cool." So that's my mug
That's awesome.
that I use, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. So what do you do now to like stay sane in all this bullshit?
A lot of cycling on Zwift. Um, let's see, lot of like going to the bait and tackle store and looking at things I can buy or just imagining ways I can like buy them. Um, editing podcasts. Let's see, working out's a big part of it. And, obviously the playing with the kids takes up a lot of time. What's really fun is like, so my son's 4 and he's playing T-ball, but he can hit a pitch out of the air. So we play a lot. He loves to play. He just loves it so much. So it's fun to do. But every moment, if we're not playing T-ball and we can go fishing, we're going fishing. So
Nice.
and we're at
It's good
home.
to get outside and
Oh, dude, love it, love it.
yeah.
I took a day off work. I needed a mental health day, and I was originally supposed to go out on a boat with a friend, but he had to cancel for something with work, and took my son, and that's when we went out and snared some crabs, and that's where I had my little Happy Gilmore moment where I jumped in the water and retrieved that
You're
crab.
not getting away. The price
Exactly.
is wrong, bitch.
Exactly.
It's awesome. That's very cool. Hey, are you an Aaron Rodgers fan?
I
This
am.
is random. This is random thought, but like, so I was thinking, Price is Right.
Yeah.
Drew Carey took over
Yeah.
that after Bob Barker like retired or passed on. So Aaron Rodgers, I guess, did like a guest host stint
For
on
Jeopardy,
Jeopardy.
right?
Yeah, and he had a couple of funny moments, but he was talking about how he really wants to get that as a full time gig. And so I was like looking at the economics of it, and he could make more as the host of Jeopardy than he does as an NFL, as one of like the best NFL quarterbacks, which
Well,
is
I'll tell
freaking
you what,
nuts.
a lot more concussions in football and getting beat up than on the set of Jeopardy. So, I mean, he's
Very
put in
true.
his time. He's won a Super Bowl. So, you know,
Just
Yeah,
retire, bro.
just retire, bro, while you still got your mental faculties. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get.
they were saying that like he could do it simultaneously, like still play,
Oh
and
wow.
then they just shoot the whole year's worth of Jeopardy in like the off season, you know. But
So he'd be like Deion
I don't know. Who
Sanders, play
knows?
two
They'll be
sports, except if we're calling Jeopardy a sport.
hosting Jeopardy is a contact sport, man.
I fucking Jeopardy, then I football, bro. That's what I do.
Like Jeopardy in football. That's so. So all right, sorry. I'll go back to the actual topic of the evening. I don't know why that just popped into my head when you were talking about
I think it's
Happy
because we
Gilmore,
both have
but
had concussions.
true. This is probably hard to follow for anyone who hasn't had concussions. This
Exactly. If you have a
conversation.
concussion, you're probably just coming to and you're like, oh, maybe I just started this podcast. So welcome back.
Oh yeah, this podcast it makes sense to me. It's like so you took up fishing, you work out on Zwift. I have a question about Zwift because I haven't used it.
Yeah.
So now you're still doing Maffetone method for training, right?
Yeah. Which
So
for
can you
listeners
do
means I'm staying below my aerobic threshold, which basically means my heart rate is not going above the number 180 minus my age. So as a 38-year-old man, it is 180 minus 38, which is 142. So
you
that
stick under 142 for the majority of the training.
majority of the training.
Now, so how do you? I assume that you're still using like training peaks for like the actual heart rate, like for those automated workouts.
Something like it called Final Surge, but yeah.
Final Surge. Okay, so something like all right, and it goes to like your heart rate monitor or whatever.
Because the heart rate, it puts on cadence, puts in watts through my trainer.
You're using a smart trainer then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got a smart trainer.
Which one?
It's the Kinetic R1. It's one of those ones that doesn't have a back wheel, so it's direct drive.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna not right now, but I think this when the winter comes back, I'll probably get one.
It's worth it for where you live, dude.
Yeah, because I'm training indoors, even in like most of the time, like outside of probably 2 or 3 months this year.
Yeah,
I'll be training indoors. So with Zwift, that's the one that it actually you see stuff on there, right? Like it's like you're actually riding outside. Is that
that is Ruby. Ruby, you look at you, it's like you're actually on a real live course. Zwift, it looks more like a video game.
Oh, okay. And do you ride with other people and stuff?
Yeah, like I used to allegedly take my lunch break and ride with my team, who are all based in Australia. So it would be a Tuesday afternoon, and it'd be their Wednesday morning ride. This is all allegedly.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
allegedly. And so with that, how do you manage to? I mean, can you do it in like free ride mode, or does it have its own programs where it wants you to like crank out?
Yeah, you can do either or. I mostly just do free ride and just like pick a different course and ride it, and it's cool, man.
Okay.
So my 4-year-old is at the age where he just like loves dinosaurs, and so on Zwift, there's this one little course where you go through this like basically like land before time kind of thing. And so there's dinosaurs everywhere, and he's just like dinosaurs, T-Rex, Brachiosaurus. It's like naming them all out. So loves it.
And is that on it's on the TV then?
Yeah, I can put it on a TV through my computer, but I just have it on my laptop.
On your laptop. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to look into that. Because I was wondering, I thought a lot of those came with their own kind of like curated trainings.
Yeah, they have some of them, but it's not like Peloton where everything's a specific kind of like workout.
Okay.
It's like you can just ride the courses at whatever speed you want.
Okay. That's kind of perfect for like if you're already getting your coaching from elsewhere, your workouts from somewhere else.
So you just have scenery and to ride with. And sometimes like if I don't want to just look at the scenery and listen to music, I'll have that going on one laptop, and on my old laptop, I'll be like watching a movie. Usually a war movie. Nice. I don't know what it is, man. War movie. But I don't know about you, but I go back and forth between like being drawn into like war movies with intense violence where people are getting fucked up, and like
Mhm.
absolutely avoiding them. Like it's like either extreme. I don't know what it is, but
I tend to mostly avoid them. I think. But I do like your ridiculous action movies like John Wick.
oh
I
yeah,
don't know why,
exactly.
but like the John Wick and those types of things where it's just like intense violence. I have no problem with that.
I was
Uh,
watching I for a while I was watching the Pacific. Usually, you know what? It's not Iraq movies. So that's one thing.
you stay away from Iraq. That makes sense.
Yeah. Iraq and Afghanistan. But
Hmm.
like I'll watch those
Like
movies.
Vietnam and shit is fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll watch Platoon. Um and all kinds of shit like that. But if it's Iraq or Afghanistan, I usually avoid it. Look, when I watch those movies, it's by myself at night alone. Like it's very controlled setting. That's
Mhm.
just what I've noticed. But it's interesting what I miss about being in. Sometimes I'm like, oh, most of the time I'm like, thank God I'm out. I'm glad to have served and glad to be out. But I will admit, as strange as it sounds, I I do miss like dumping lead into people. And it's kind of fucked up to say, but there's times where like, man, like I really miss that. And it's weird to even speak those words out loud now because I don't know, it's not like appropriate to say, but I know a lot of people feel the same way. I've talked to people.
Yeah, I mean, I was a linguist, so there was no dumping of lead into people. There
You're
was setting
dumping
up
you're
copper
dumping
fucking
language into people.
wires. Yeah, dumping language. Uh, or getting rocketed. That was yeah my war experience. But like getting rocketed with like anti-personnel rockets, so that no matter what, you weren't going to be able to shoot anybody. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Yeah, we had like something happen where like a TCNs, the third country nationals who were
Hmm.
on the base. So we were on like one side of Al Assad that was away from all the. It was not Camp Ripper, and it wasn't where like the fucking Burger King and all that shit was.
Uh-huh.
And this is '06. So we were on this like operational airfield side where they would launch all the F-18s and the Prowlers and shit.
Oh yeah.
And one time, some of the TCNs who worked at the Chow Hall accidentally drove toward where they were, like toward the flight line,
Oh.
and there was like a section or what, I don't know what you call that side of the base, but there was like this email that went out and it was like, devil dogs, don't shoot at TCNs when they make a wrong turn. Like people were so eager to put rounds down range and hopefully get that combat action ribbon
Oh
that
yeah,
they
God.
fucking just started shooting. And
Oh my God.
yeah, it was
I
nuts, man.
I can
Like I can understand that though, like the adrenaline, even just doing a shooting package would be fun, just
Yeah,
some sort of like.
exactly. Exactly, like dumping rounds into targets, like, and it's funny because I barely shoot anymore. Like, I like the idea more than I actually like doing it. Like, I
Mhm.
have, I have a 30-06 and like a bunch of ammo for it, but I haven't shot it in the last, I don't know, maybe 6 years. And every time I shoot it, it's like I'm having a fucking panic attack. Like going to the range, like I don't like being at the range with a lot of other people. Um,
Yeah, that's understandable. If it's just a couple people, that's fine.
dude, and
But
yeah, exactly. Having a lot of people around, it's just like with loaded weapons. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just a weird thing because I don't trust them. I don't trust a lot of civilians who, I mean, the ones who know what they're doing, yes. But you see a lot of
oh
weird people
yeah.
at the range with like huge scopes on like pistols, and you're like, what are you doing?
I'm almost afraid of the guys who have like I knew one dude who was like, oh man, we it was one of the things we could talk about at work, and
Yeah.
like going back to cults, right? So he was one of these QAnon type fellows,
Oh
and so
boy.
we talked about yeah, I mean we talked about guns and stuff because that was like one of our
Yeah, you
the
common threads
only
right
things
there.
that we kind of yeah common threads. And he was telling me, he's like, oh man, I got like a floating barrel AK-47 with the blah 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 blah, all these optics and shit. And if you totaled up the cost of that rifle to get it like doctored the way he wanted it, it was like $2,500. And it's like, what are
Yeah.
you going to do with that? You're going to go out and you're going to put some holes in paper. Why can't you do that with a stock AK-47
Yeah, no kidding.
with fucking iron sights or something? I don't know. I thought about getting into like that 3-gun competition. I thought that
Yeah.
would be cool. I actually picked up like, so I had a Mossberg and I had like a Springfield XD
Yeah,
45,
those are nice. Shot those.
and yeah, and I got an AR-15 at one point too. They're all being stored with someone back in the States right now. But like the only one I ever shot was a pistol. Like that I only ever really went to shoot that, you know? And it
Yeah,
was just in the indoor range, nothing like too special.
I
Um,
I like the idea of shooting more than I like shooting, and I'm trying to obviously I know it's related to being in combat and you know everything that comes with it, all the fun mental health conditions that can follow us back. But
yeah.
it's something I don't know if I'll ever get over, but what I am doing is like when the opportunity to go shooting presents itself, I'll go because I don't want it to become something I'm just afraid to death of and won't do, and
Hmm.
then because like when you have something you're afraid of, unless it's like a legit, like danger to you, um, if you have something you're afraid of and you avoid doing it, it just reinforces how scary it is to your brain. And so it becomes scarier and scarier. So that's
Yeah,
how people have
I'm
like,
with you there.
yeah, that's how people will kind
That's
of,
how you get phobias.
uh-huh. And that's how you get your life becomes a lot smaller. Things like
Hmm.
you used to do start to disappear. And then all of a sudden you're not doing anything. You don't have any friends and you don't go out. And that's not
You
a
sit
good place to
inside playing
be.
video games or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Just clogging
That's
up you porn.
there's oh dude, I watched this show. So like it's not this book I'm writing right now, but the one that I want to write next is I want it to take place in World War II. It's the sequel to the one I finished back in December. And I want it to kind of like have this like kind of spy uh in occupied Europe with
Mhm.
some magic involved, right? So I was looking up the special operations executive from World War II, and there's a Netflix show where, like, I guess they declassified the SOE handbook, which was like what the Brits used to train people who were going to go, like, essentially engage in like guerrilla warfare against the Nazis in World War II. It's really,
Oh,
really
wow.
cool shit.
Yeah.
So they declassified it. And then they made a reality TV show in like 2016 where they put modern day people through this training. And if they kind of cracked, then they sent them home type shit.
Mhm.
But the real focus, it wasn't like the focus was on like, I don't know, with a lot of these reality TV shows, the focus is on like, well, I don't like the way she looked at me. And so like, I don't even fucking like that bitch. I'm going to wait till
Exactly.
she's asleep and I'm going to fucking put a pillow on her face. It wasn't like that. It was like, they kind of focused on the training, but there were a couple people with like these really bad phobias. And it was really neat to watch when they had to kind of face this shit on camera. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
one
I
lady
bet.
was really afraid of open water. Another was super afraid of heights.
Yeah.
It was really cool, man. So that was really awesome show. It was like the British reality TV shows seem to not suck as bad as the ones we make.
Oh, I
You
think
know?
ours are just a lot more catty. It's about the drama of
Yes.
like people getting in little like bitch fights, guys and girls. Um, so this brings up a good topic that we're kind of honing in on, facing your fears. What do you do
Hmm.
personally if you're hesitant or afraid of something to overcome that?
Since I'm not afraid of anything, I just don't have that problem. No, I'm
You're
just
just
kidding.
down. You're just down to
I'm
fuck
just
around with
down.
anything.
Like, you know, well, I guess I try to put myself in situations in a controlled environment where I have to face that fear. So here's an example. I love climbing. I really like it. Even at my fattest, I can still out climb some motherfuckers. It's weird.
That
There's
needs to be
probably
on
too much
t-shirt.
time in the Boy Scouts. Yeah, even at my fattest, I out climb motherfuckers. Because we did when I was working at my former company, we had like we went to one of those indoor climbing gyms, and everyone was really surprised because I was like pretty good. And at the time, I think I was like 230 pounds. Just
I love that,
you
man.
know,
The Pablo Sandoval of
But
the climbing
it
world.
just exactly. So, but I will say this. So, like, I went when I was. So I guess it's been over a year since I was home. So this was December of 19, or like maybe January, right
Yeah.
before Corona was found in the US. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
everyone's kind of doing their thing still. And I went with one of my cousins who's pretty athletic to this indoor rock climbing gym. And neither of us had like belayed anyone in a while. So it presented this unique situation. So where I really get scared or where I feel the adrenaline kind of pumping is when you're at the top of the wall and now it's time to get back.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Whether that's
Okay.
like a rock where you're at the top of the where you have to come over the 90-degree angle or where
Exactly.
you have to come over the tower. Yeah, that's where I'm like, oh my God. And I start shaking. Well, because neither of us wanted to do the belay test, they had these self belay things where
Okay.
you climb up and it's like a spring loaded system or something and it just kind of lets you, but you get to the top, you ring the bell, you have to consciously kind of like let go and fall back
Yeah.
and keep your legs at a 90-degree angle and like walk down the wall
And just
or
trust it's
rappel.
gonna work.
Yeah. And dude, the, it was something. it was,
Yeah.
that's probably the last time I really feel like I can, other than that, it's just, I hate taking critique from native speakers of a language that I'm not
Yeah.
good at. And I'll say that that's one thing I'm not good at. Like I should be pushing myself more into it, but like I have a fiance who speaks Russian. I could be speaking Russian all the fucking time, but I'm not because I hate getting corrected for like poor grammar.
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to get over, nut up, and just fucking do it. But I mean, that's the best way to get over your fears, right? I mean,
Hmm.
what are you afraid of? How do you handle it?
Oh, let's see. Since sometimes I just have this anxiety that just shows up and I feel like I'm about to die. So that's just PTSD. That's fun.
You mean like panic attack style,
Hmm.
or just like anxiety? I always
Both.
fear I'm going to be a failure, and then I usually do destructive behaviors and go the exact opposite direction and
Yeah.
get drunk or
Yeah.
something.
Let's see.
And I've been doing that a lot lately, which is bad.
Um,
But
lately just been having this feeling that someone's like the kind of like a PTSD paranoia almost where I feel like somebody is out there, not like to get me, like some secret agent or something, but like shit's about to go down, even when I'm riding my
mhm.
bike in my garage or I'm like running on the treadmill or something. So it's that feeling of like, well, but what I do with that is I say, oh, this is some leftover war shit right here. And then I just
Mhm.
keep going. So I remind myself
Okay.
that what I'm experiencing is not related to the actual thing I'm doing. Like if I'm
Mhm.
having anxiety at work or at home, I'm like, oh, this is some leftover war stuff right here. This does not have anything to do with this situation. Um,
It's, I mean, it's good that you're mindful enough to be doing that. I mean, do you think so do you think that your ability to kind of recognize what's going on in that situation and handle it, do you think that that is related to meditating? I'm assuming you're still
yeah,
meditating a lot.
it came up during a meditation, 2014. It was before I was training up to do a Go Rec Heavy, and big moment in my
Mhm.
life because I was training up for this thing. And so Go Ruck Heavy, for those who don't know, is a 24-hour endurance event where you just carry heavy shit and get hazed by like special forces cadre, well, former special forces cadre. So, and then you earn a patch at the end that said you did it. And whatever reason, I decided I want to do it. And I was starting to have panic attacks like leading up to this thing. And it's like, okay, you're going to
Mhm.
get tired. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard, but no reason to have like full on panic attacks where I'm like paralyzed and can't get off the ground. And then I was
Mhm.
meditating one day and I was like, oh, putting on a ruck, going outside, gearing up, and then like stepping off with boots on. It just felt like gearing up for a mission, I guess. And my body was going through like that. And it hit me in a meditation like, oh, this is some leftover war stuff. And
That makes sense.
yeah. And after that, like just knowing that didn't let the fear ramp up more. And so like the fear was there a little bit, but it didn't like
Hmm.
keep ramping up. Because what happens if you don't identify the source of your fear? It's like, oh, I'm afraid. Like you feel a feeling, and then you have a thought like, oh shit, there's something bad, and then you get a little more afraid, and then you're like, oh, I'm feeling more afraid, and then something must be really bad, and then you get more afraid. So it just goes like that. But if you can identify the source of it, or just name the fact that you're having a feeling, it can keep it right there and from it getting out of control. So that seems to be the answer for me, even if it's something I'm a legit kind of like nervous about, like weird things like throwing a baseball in front of a lot of people. I get nervous about that.
Pull a Fauci.
Yeah,
Was
exactly.
it Fauci that like got halfway to home plate or whatever?
Oh, dude, let's talk about 50 Cent, like throwing like that, you watch a video of 50 Cent throwing out the first pitch.
All right, I'll
That,
look it up.
oh, it's embarrassing. But like that's my worst nightmare of like throwing out the first pitch in a game and just like flubbing it, like throwing it straight in the dirt. And I played baseball. I played baseball
Yeah.
all through my childhood, all the way up until I was 15. So
Oh
I
wow.
know how to throw a ball, but
So
like
you
I
know how to
wasn't the
throw a ball, but you're.
I get psyched out about it, but like it was one of
Hmm.
those things where like it just I had a lot of pressure put on myself or put on me to be good at baseball. And so like it would go to my head. And like even playing softball as an adult before I got a handle on it, I would just like throw a ball like wildly, and it would just like not go like I'd throw over people's heads or in the dirt, and people were like, "What's your deal, bro?" I'm like, "I don't know.
Dude, I don't even know.
I
Yeah,
don't even know."
that makes sense. That's been happening to me with public speaking, I think.
Yeah.
Since I've stopped doing stand up, like
Oh
I haven't
yeah.
done stand up in the last fucking year. So um I'll tell you what though, when it opens up, I'm gonna be like, Elena, I need to do stand up at least once a week.
Yeah.
You know, there's not as many shows out here as there are in the Bay, but like so I had this thing where I was addressing, I don't even know, it was for the Estonian ICT cluster, and I was supposed to give a speech on like digital transformation, like general overview, like 20 minutes though, you know?
Yeah.
And I got up there, and the way the format was set, like we were almost in like a TV studio, and they had like a bunch of cameras on you and all these spotlights and this huge background type shit. And I thought to myself, like, all right, I'm not going to write a formal speech because I can't see it. So I'll
Yeah.
just write notes down. So I wrote notes down, and I got up there, and holy shit, like the lights hit me. You know, I was in full suit, and all of a sudden I started feeling hot, and my brain just dumped. Like I could
Oh.
not come up with a thought to save my life. And I knew I was like sweating. I was like, fuck, I'm glad they put makeup on me. And dude, I was just like, and I thought for a second, like, okay, just fucking go. Like I had that flight response, which I haven't had that response in public speaking forever,
Wow.
forever.
Yeah.
I dropped like one fucking pitch one time, like 2 years ago for some class we had. Other than that, never had a problem public speaking. But then, you know, this big stage and all the lights and stuff. And dude, I was, luckily, I kind of recognized what was going on. And I was like, all right, just breathe and then just remember, like, look at your bullet points and then go. And I failed to be able to recall this one. Like, I wanted to say the word competencies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to know what your internal competencies are to your government and your external competencies in like the IT sector. And I couldn't think of that for the life of me, but I got through it, man. But I recognized, and I was just like, oh, this is a fucking panic attack. And I'm on camera in front of like a few hundred
Lots of
people on
people.
the other end.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like almost lost my fucking mind, bro. But got through it.
Dude,
God.
that's major. I for some reason I just don't have that anymore, that fear of public speaking, but I have it equally for other things, weird things like throwing a baseball in front of other people
Mhm.
or um
Well, you don't want to get told you throw like a girl. Yeah, you fucking throw like a girl.
if you can't throw a baseball, I
And
mean,
you're
they
like,
might revoke your citizenship as an American, you know?
yeah, they'll take your kids. Be like, you're not a man. You can't
Yeah.
have kids. Wait, that's gender bias. Oh well,
Exactly.
yeah.
Here, wear this diaper and we're going to deport you to another country because you're a baby. Um, but
Oh God.
If I have to do public speaking and I start getting nervous at all, I just think of dumb shit, and it's like equally unhelpful because I'll just think of like
Really?
scenes from like Step Brothers where it's like prestige worldwide, worldwide. um, and then I'll start laughing.
The Catalina wine makes it.
Exactly.
Did you just laugh?
I'll just start laughing to myself and be like, okay, I got to take this seriously. I got to take this seriously. And it's usually at inconvenient moments when things are very serious.
Yeah, like there's this oh fuck, I did that on that pitch that I was saying that I dropped.
Yeah.
Like for some reason our group had decided, it was like an investor pitch for like a startup type thing. It was a competition. And our group had decided that we were just going to use pictures behind it and no data on the slides.
Yeah.
And so we had these like pictures that were somewhat related to the things we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
And when I dropped when my brain went and I couldn't remember what the fuck I was going to say, because for some reason I do better with bullet points. I'm really not good at memorizing stuff. I think I'd be a bad actor or have to like really work on that. So my first instinct was to do a stand-up thing.
Nice.
And I just started riffing on, like, there was a picture of hot air balloons and I was like, oh yeah, hot air balloons, they're fucking cool. And I just started like, like hot air balloons are related to networks because, and then I just talked myself back into my pitch. But we only had 3 minutes, and at the end of it, the judges were like, okay, so what does your company do? And I had to like, yeah, basically in the question period, I got across my what we were supposed to tell them, but like that for a minute I sat there talking shit about my PowerPoint presentation. I got people laughing, but that was not the success criteria in the case. So yeah, I either I brain dump and then I talk shit. That's basically what I do.
One of my go-tos will be doing an Arnold impersonation, especially yeah, exactly. Like especially his like lines from like his classic Pumping Iron. Every time I lift a weight, it's just like I'm coming and coming.
Which creates an uncomfortable conversation if you're like at work.
You're talking to your in-laws. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've
talked about Arnold coming. We've talked about facing your fears. We talked about throwing baseballs and 50 Cent. Fishing.
And we talked about COVID. Have you gotten a vaccine yet? Are you like, how's that going over there?
I'm fully vaccinated, bro. As for being a VA employee, here's the most, one of the most unexpected things was the VA was so efficient in rolling out the vaccine, as first for employees and now for veterans, that I got my first vaccine dose in December, and then I got my second one in January. Yeah, exactly. So they rolled that out smooth. You
think they'll have them on hand for a while?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because if I come back in August, well, I mean, we were thinking of going back in August. I'd like my kid to meet his parent or to meet his grandparents.
You like your kid to meet his parents?
Yeah, I want my kid to meet his real parents. I would prefer that he meets his grandparents prior to him turning a full year old.
Yeah.
Like, so we were just thinking we get like summer vacation. So I was hoping to go in August. And I'm not sure that I'll actually get a vaccine out here because, like, even though they managed the beginning part of the pandemic well, the EU has really sucked it up on their vaccine drive. So, like, I was hoping to get it before I travel.
USA.
Yeah.
No, I hope you get vaccinated, man.
Thanks. Well, I think it would be easier to travel that way,
Here, I have a PSA for everybody who's wondering whether or not to get the vaccine. If you were in the military, you got injected with every fucking thing you can imagine. So if you can't handle a pussy little COVID vaccine, get the fuck out of here.
There's one vaccine in my life that I ever turned down, and that was anthrax.
Oh, bro, I got that. I was like, too.
No one's fucking launching anthrax at us. So I denied that shit. But like, I'll get the COVID vaccine as soon as it's available. I hope everyone who listens to our podcast will also do that. I don't think we have many retards listening. I mean, idiots. I don't want to say retards anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we have many R words listening.
Yes. No R words listening.
Don't be R-worded. Just go get it.
Oh shit! You should watch that if you have time and you don't have a ton of shit on your list. You should watch that SOE thing. I can't
Okay.
remember the name of it, but if you just, it's on Netflix. It's cool. Some of the training they did. It's like some of it's reminiscent of what we did in the Marines, and some of it is more like CIA style shit. And they took like random civilians and trained them up, and then they went into fucking France and made havoc. You know,
That's so cool, man.
it's like, yeah.
Like things like that. Like I would love just to dump rounds into Nazis, like without
I
hesitation.
think, yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be just so fulfilling. And then there's a part of me that's kind of embarrassed that I feel that way. But there's a bigger part of me, as we're learning, there's lots of parts of us. There's a bigger part of me that's okay with the fact that I have these aggressive tendencies because it's human. Like our good friend Dr. Shauna Springer pointed out, we have those. They're real things. So if you're out and you still want to dump rounds into people, that's okay.
It's okay.
Just don't do it. Unless you're like
That's
Dexter
true. Yeah,
and you're
don't
cleaning
do
up
it.
the streets.
There you go. Which that's coming back for another series or season.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm psyched for that. That's awesome. Hey, did you
Yeah.
watch Falcon and Winter Soldier? We're like doing TV catch up.
No, I haven't.
I liked it a lot. It's cool. Yeah. Falcon and Winter Soldier is worth it. Did you watch WandaVision?
Oh hell yeah.
Are you a
I
big
watched it.
MCU guy or not? Like
Not that big. What's funny is Sarah, my wife, is way more into Marvel and superheroes than I am. But I watched WandaVision, and I
okay.
recommend that to all our listeners.
Yeah, that shit. It was good. I'm really surprised they've done some good stuff with this, with the TV MCU shit. I don't know, man. I'm like a super nerd, so like everything I write is like science fiction or fantasy, and like whatever. It's good.
I'm into that, and if our listeners aren't into that shit, well, too fucking bad. Guess
Yeah,
what? This
then
is a
you
free
don't have to buy my
podcast.
book.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man. It's good to see you. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this, sit down and
Yeah. This is good
and
stuff, man.
record.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll be back with more shit. Sometimes we'll
Yeah.
have
More
focused
shit
topics,
talking.
and sometimes we'll just talk some
Sometimes
shit
we'll
because you know what? Getting together and talking shit. When I listen to podcasts where people are just getting together, like it's the Smoke Pit and talking shit. Also, Smoke Pit, another good podcast. Um,
oh, I should check that one out.
is I like that. I like that a lot, man. So
Yeah.
hopefully our
Cover
listeners
some
enjoyed
good
this.
stuff and cover some interesting stuff and like, yeah, talk some shit.
Yeah, and go ahead and talk some shit on a review on iTunes if you want to, listeners. You know who you
It would
are.
help us out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know who you are, Mr. and Mrs. I haven't rated and reviewed us yet. Do it. Do it now. Do it right now. Do it now.
Do it.
Cool, man.
Cool.
Anything left?
No, dude. I'm just glad we got together. I need to start meditating more.
Yeah.
But other than that, life's pretty good.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and throw this out there. Wash your hands, everyone. Go ahead and wash your hands if you're wondering whether or not to wash your hands.
Just wash your hands. Get vaccinated.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay the fuck at home.
Exactly. That's our if you take nothing else from this podcast other than how to deal with your fears, it's if you can't get vaccinated, you're a fucking pussy. So there we go.
There you go.
The gauntlet's been thrown.
I wonder how many people are anti-vaxxers who are going to comment to be like, these guys are fucking communists.
Exactly. Shills for the CDC.
Yeah, we're not asking you to get Sputnik 5, guys. We're just
yeah, exactly.
Just get a vaccine.
Yeah, just get anyone. Diphtheria, get that one.
Yeah, get the diphtheria. Diphtheria is where you're got a fear of giving daps. I just made that shit up.
I like that. See what you guys get when you listen to Transitions from War? You get fucking gold nuggets just like that.
Diphtheria. Catch it. Alrighty.
Well, until next time, drink water.
Meditate.
Kill fucking bodies.
Kill bodies.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for this week of Transitions for More. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, follow it. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, mike@transitionsformore.com, with any questions or ideas for the show. And please send the show to people you know who might need to listen to it. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes if you get a chance. And just thanks for listening. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.